Okay, awesome. So today, I'd like to welcome everybody who is here today. My name is Untitled Chapter, and I have two people in the house. I have a doctor in the house, and I have a pharmacist in the house. I have Dr. Fumi Aino, with over 35 years practice years, and I'm sure 35 is below the number. I'm sure when she speaks, she'll add more years to that. And we have MI in the building, Temitope Akiyemi, who is a pharmacist with over 20 years in the pharmaceutical space, now manufacturing as well. I have two amazing ladies in the house, and I'm excited to be in the sandwich, the woman sandwich today, of being the one who will ask some of the questions and direct us today. So before we start, I'd like each of these people to introduce themselves, and I would like you to give an introduction that is a readerized introduction. So I'd like you to begin to think about it, to say, what is one experience or encounter or testimony about Rida that that moved you to take it more seriously, or that just moved you to like, there's something here. When was that moment for you when you just realized, this thing we need to drive? And as you're preparing your thoughts about that question, I'd like to just say that, sometimes I feel the biggest disservice that we can all do to the opportunity we have is to have things that people consider so amazing and to keep quiet about it. So in today's meeting, we're going to be asking deep dive questions to understand a little bit about how to use the product, a little bit about, what ailments exist and how we can point people in the direction of usage, how we can listen to them, and how we can really be available to add value and help people. But in our introduction, I'd like us to introduce ourselves and, that reader moment for you, that testimony, that encounter, that experience that just made you feel, what, we've got to do this. So I'm going to start, first of all, with Dr. Fumi Aino. So please, the floor is yours. Introduce yourself, and then from yourself, you can pass the baton to Temitope Akiyemi.
Good evening, CM. Thank you for that introduction. Good evening, everyone. It's a privilege to be here tonight. And as CM said, my name is Dr. Fumi Aino. I qualified as a medical doctor. Actually, April will make it 40 years because it was 1982 that I qualified. Practiced full-time in government service for a couple of decades, then retired into consultancy and other non-medical ventures. And now a foster manager, VIP member, stockist and trade partner with Green Mondays. And talking about the moment that did it for me, it was actually at the very beginning. I know that when Rida was launched, I wasn't too sure, would it work? Would it be anyhow like something else we've been driving? And I tried the Rida bitters. I had this low back pain, which was not severe but was there, was reminding me of my age. And I actually booked an appointment to see my GP abroad, and I had those little samples just before lunch, and I took them for about 6 days, and by the time I got to the doctor, the pain had gone. And now that low back pain is really a thing of the past for me because I take Rida regularly, and it just doesn't come back. And so that started it for me. There are a lot more, but I mean, those are for another day. But from the beginning, I knew that this is what I want to drive this because I knew it worked. Thank
you. Okay. Good evening, everyone. Good evening. My name is Temitope Akiyemi. I'm a pharmacist by training. I wrote here that Dr. Fumi has been practicing for 40 years. That's almost the age of some people I know. Yeah, so it will be 21 years this year, post-graduation for me. from School of Pharmacy, University of Ibadan. And in the Green Mondays, I'm a 4-star manager. I'm a VIP, and so on and so forth. I'm a stockist and all. It's a privilege to be here. I'm so excited. I'm happy to be having this session with Dr. Aina. She knows that I'm a huge fan. Yeah, so straight to the question that we're asked. I think I would like to take it from another direction. You know, sometimes you see something, you experience it, and you're like, wow. And then after a while, you become familiar with it, and then something else comes up that makes you feel like, wow, I mean, we have something here. So for me, to answer CM's question, I think I've had those moments at different times along this journey. And I would like to share just one of those kind of moments where I felt, oh, wow, this is just something really amazing. This happened to someone close to someone I know who had she had breast cancer. She had breast cancer and she was properly diagnosed. She had been scheduled. She would commence chemotherapy. And, you know, she was already going in that direction. And the person who was directly in touch with her contacted me, and I encouraged them to begin to use the female wellness pack. And honestly, this one is really close home. You know, some you just hear and a third party and all of that. And, you know, the contact person is not okay, I'll come to that. So they began to use the female wellness pack. Long and short, because we have a lot to still do. Long and short is after some time, she went back to do tests. Of course, she was already much better. She was feeling well and all. And the last updates that I have from this woman is the fact that she had done 7 tests after, just to like screen or to check her. And 6 out of those 7 tests declared her free of cancer. That for me was like a massive, that was, so, you know, the doctor honestly couldn't believe it. She could not believe it. She said she was still going to wait for the 7th test. And I'm like, oh, if you have done 7 and you have seen 6, you know, so for me, that was like really a very big deal for me. And the contact person is not even, and that's how I know that we just have to push this thing. I mean, we have value here. She's not the most well-spoken person. She's not the most articulate person. You know, I just said, okay, try it. Tell this person to try it. And she went and said, try it, you know, and then she began, and then her journey to wellness began. And, you know, she has gotten a new lease, you know, of life. And, you know, from time to time, we hear different testimonies of different degrees that just shows that there are people who are battling health issues, who need this, and, you know, people who desire to live a better quality of life. So for me, I mean, that's the most recent, but I mean, I get that from time to time. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much for that contribution, MI. So today, without much ado, we have a number of questions already available for us to ask our guests. So I'd like to just do a quick check to ensure that you are here and you are listening. If you are here today and you are listening and you are here ready to learn, just give me a 111 on the comments box as I begin to share my screen so that we can begin to ask the key questions. So let me see your 111 there. I will go ahead and share my screen and then we can take it off from there. Good. Just try to confirm that we're all here and listening, and then we'll take it on from there. So I'm going to display the questions so that it can be seen, and then we will start answering the questions from there. Thank you very much, everyone. I can see all our 111s. I can see all of those key elements. So very good. So very quickly, we'll start with the first question. And I think, you know, in no particular order, we'll go with them in no specific order at all. We'll be looking at these questions together. So I think Dr. Fumi, I know, can take the first one, and then MI can interchange like that. And by the time we ask a few questions, you will now be able to ask us as well. So please, if you have any questions that you would love to ask the medical team and you love to ask the people who understand the science of why the product works or the science of well-being, please, this is the meeting. It happens every Wednesday, and you can always come here to learn, to get new perspective, and to ginger yourself up to be able to drive the product. So the question I'll be asking today is, someone sent this question and said, I have someone who wants to use a fat burner. She's asking the kilograms she will lose in 3 months. This person wants a guarantee to say, if I use this product, how will it help my ministry? How many kilograms can I be looking forward to dropping in 3 months? Somebody comes to you and asks you this kind of question, how do we answer them? What do we say? And what assurances can we give them? Dr. Fumi, over to you.
Okay, thank you very much for that question. Well, weight loss really is a function of what you take in and what you burn. It's also a function of the starting weight. If a person wants to lose weight, you take in less calories, you burn more calories. It can be from exercise. Now, our fat burner, one of the things our fat burner does is that it increases the metabolic rate. That is the rate at which food is broken down. So, the fat burner is also used alongside the bitters. Actually, the weight management pack, you start with a month of detoxification, so to speak, with the bitters and the cleanser, and then you add the fat burner. It's a bit difficult to answer the question, how many kilograms would that person lose in 3 months? Because it will also depend on what the person is taking in. When we're on fat burner, we need to watch what we eat as well. So it won't be like I'm on fat burner and I'm taking eba every night at 9 p.m., along with that, and drinking a crate of Coke during the day. So the actual number of kilograms may not readily be, we may not readily be able to say that, but that person would lose weight. And the way to know is to try it. We have several testimonies about weight loss and the fat burner. So the person should just start. The first thing is to get started, and watch the weight drop off as you use the product, and make some lifestyle modifications as well. Thank you.
Awesome.
I hope
Thank
that
you.
answers the question.
Yeah, very well said, very well spoken. MI, do you want to add anything to that? Okay, that's fine. So I think I like that question. If people are taking fat burner and they're loading a bar and then drinking crates of drink, it means they want to give the fat burner competition. And I don't think that's the way to do if you really want to burn weight. Thank you very much for that answer. Okay, so the second question will go to MI. It says, what can I recommend for an asthmatic patient? What exactly can I recommend for somebody who has asthma and wants to begin to take any of the variants of the bitters to solve their challenge? Over to you.
Okay, thank you very much, CM. For someone who has asthma, of course, we know that for asthma is either caused by maybe infections or triggered by allergies and all that. So I believe for someone who is living with asthma, the person should already know what the triggers are, the things that trigger the asthma and all, and the person needs to minimize exposure to those things. Like Dr. Aino said, every question I'm going to answer today, I'm going to still tie it to a single thread, and that thread has to do with lifestyle. Okay, there are modifications that we need to make. There are changes that we need to make if we want to continue to live a healthy life. Okay, the fact that I'm taking products that work does not give me the audacity to give my body system more work by taking the things that don't really benefit my body. So lifestyle changes are are very important, and staying away from things that trigger those attacks are also important. So having said all of that, for someone who is an asthmatic patient, or for an asthmatic patient, I would straight away recommend the eucalyptus tea. The eucalyptus tea is just simply phenomenal, okay, for asthma. It works really well for it. Then, of course, the balm works as well. Then the bitters, and then the cleanser. So, of course, within the solution packs, we have the respiratory support pack. So that has all of that. I'm not sure if it has the tea. So that's why I'm saying, okay, if I have to select 4 products that will be valuable for the person who is managing asthma, the eucalyptus tea is your regular to go. Eucalyptus tea, the bitters, the cleanser, and the balm. So those 4 products will be good to incorporate into one's lifestyle as someone managing asthma. It will take care of the asthma, take care of a lot more than that. But those 4 I would recommend for the person managing asthma. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, MI. Dr. Fumi, I know, is there something you would like to add to that? Is there something you would like to add to that?
No, I think
progress?
MI has done justice to that. Thank you.
Ma?
No, thank you. MI has.
Oh, yes. Okay, excellent. So if anybody that has anything that has respiratory issues, I think whatever it's applicable to asthma will also be applicable to respiratory issues, inclusive of COVID-19. You can take a cue from there on the things that you can use as well. Question number 3, I believe this is going to Dr. Fumi Aino. What product should a woman with fibroid that is trying to conceive use? This is a very popular question. People say, I have fibroid and I want to give birth. The fibroid is not allowing me to give birth. It's blocking somewhere in my uterus. And doctor said I should come for operation. Is there any range of products that can be utilized for this? Dr. Fumi, over to you.
Okay, thank you very much, CM, for that question. You know, first of all, I will say that 20% of Black women are said to have fibroids. And the management of the fibroids would depend on different factors, from the size, the number, the position, what part of the uterus they're actually in. So it's 2 things. It's the fibroids and it's the trying to conceive. Before I talk about the fibroids, I also talk about trying to conceive. You know, fertility issues in a couple, it's been found that 1/3 of the cases of infertility have a male factor. 1/3, about 30%, have a female factor. About 30% have both, and there are some, about 15%, that you may not even know is called unexplained infertility. So in the light of that explanation, fibroids, the definitive management of fibroids is surgery, but range depending on what the fibroids are, where they are, how many, the management could be not from nothing to surgery. But starting off with the Rida range, Rida Bitters, Cleanser, and Rida Restore, which is contained in the Female Wellness Pack, is a pack that has been used, and many people have found value with it. I know of a woman who had big fibroids, and even the person who sold the pack to her said, well, her fibroids are big, but this lady used the female wellness pack, and her fibroids reduced such that she didn't have to have surgery, open surgery. She had what we call laser ablation. Now, when we talk about the conception part of it, I want to state that when a woman is trying to conceive, we need to look at both of them. You know, there are 3 basic areas one needs to look at. First of all, does the woman have any hormonal issues? Number 2 is that are her tubes, fallopian tubes, patent? Number 3, what is the man's sperm count like? Sperm seminal analysis, not just the count, the motility, the quality. And if that couple want to conceive, let's say nothing has been found to cause the infertility. Female, again, we have a female fertility pack, and then the man would take the male wellness pack, which contains Rida bitters, cleanser, and fire. So we would advise them to take those products as a couple. So the female wellness pack and fertility pack would help with the fibroids, and the 2 packs would help them to conceive. This is after having full investigations to also make sure that there are no mechanical reasons why conception has not taken place. Thank you.
Thank you very, very much, ma'am. Very, very good. I'm sure we were all listening to that, and we have something we can recommend to those who are looking for the fruit of the womb. MI, is there something you want to add to that? Okay. Please go ahead.
Okay, I'd just like to say that for women trying to conceive and who have fibroids, of course, I'm sure they must have been well examined. It's not all fibroids that prevent people from conceiving. And even medical doctors, usually would agree with the fact that before you go under the knife, because, the thing about many of those surgeries is that, it tends to grow back. Yeah. So be sure that that's what you really, 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 you don't have a choice. It's the reason why you are deciding to go in the direction of surgery, and which is why I'm supporting what Dr. Aino says. If they said, okay, go for surgery, I think you can still, before you finally go under the knife, you can decide to give the female wellness pack a try, so that you don't have to go under the knife and then go under the knife again. So surgery is not child's play. So it's before one goes ahead with it, it's good to evaluate, be sure, and take more than just one opinion. Again, if they say go for surgery, seek a second opinion. In fact, you can seek a third opinion. And while you are doing all of that, you can be taking the female wellness pack. And who knows, you just may have, no need to go for the myomectomy at that time. So, thank you.
Okay, thank you. Thank you for that, MI. I hope everybody can hear me. The next question will be going to MI first, and then Dr. Fumi after. It says, which of our products can someone with high levels of uric acid use? This person's feet swells about every 3 months, after which he won't be able to walk. So the person has high uric acid, the feet swells about every 3 months, and then the person is prevented from walking. Which of the products should they consider using? MI, you can take a stab at that question, and then Dr. Fumi will go after.
Okay, thank you, CM. So, of course, when you see uric acid, it sounds, and for the person who is not, uric acid is simply one of the waste products that the kidneys have that function of eliminating uric acid from the body. So it's a waste product. Yeah. So just imagine that something that is supposed to be a waste product in your body is being accumulated, and then it has high levels in your body. You can be sure that it's going to cause damage because it's not supposed to be there. So that means the kidneys are being hampered from doing their work, technically. And when you try to find out what are the things that can cause these high uric acid levels, I'll just mention like 2, 3 or so. Diabetes can cause high uric acid levels. Being overweight can cause high uric acid levels. Too much alcohol, consuming too much alcohol can cause that. And then some medications can also cause that as well. Some medications you call diuretics. Diuretics are majorly high, antihypertensives. So some medications that people take can cause accumulation of high uric acid in the body. So of course, when this happens, this uric acid now collects. It can collect in different parts of the body. It can collect at the joints, in which case it can cause gout or arthritis. It can gather in the kidneys itself because, it's wearing the entire kidney down, not allowing the kidney to do its work. Yeah, so and it can cause kidney stones. So when there are high uric acids, when the levels of of uric acid is high, it just makes sense to understand that what you need is an antioxidant, and it is a fantastic work that the Rida herbal bitters will do without batting an eyelid. So for someone with a high uric acid, I would say that the person can, because we've spoken about being overweight as well. So the person can either take the antihypertensive, the hypertensive lifestyle pack, the diabetic lifestyle pack, or even the weight management solution pack. Okay. And the person will be able to handle that. So of course, because I've mentioned a couple of causes. So depending on the underlying cause of that high uric acid level, most times the person is either overweight, or the person is managing hypertension, or the person is diabetic. So depending on what direction the cause is, that's what will determine what solution pack one could focus on to be able to take care of that condition. So, and of course, once you're able to take care of that, the accumulation, what is causing the swelling, all of that will be taken care of, as well. So, thank you.
Okay, thank you very much for that answer. Dr. Fumi, is there anything you would like to add?
Well, just to say also that, I mean, one of the reasons why, I mean, the like MI said, uric acid causes gout as well, and gout, oxidative stress has been found to be indicated in gout, and so just like she said, the fact that the bitters is a strong antioxidant, it makes sense that that would help, for somebody with high uric acid.
Okay, thank you very much, Dr. Fumi. I can see a few questions popping up in the chat box already. I will take them. I can see that Madam Adiza has a question there. I can see that Maria Daudu has a question there. I will visit your questions. And I didn't know has a question I already answered as well, but I will visit the question later as well. I'd like us to just take 2 more questions and then we'll open the floor for as many people as want to ask as well. The next question is going to Dr. Fumi, I know, and it says, what is the treatment for someone who has breast lump and has removed it twice, but it keeps growing, but she's tired of surgery and the pain is becoming unbearable for her? So this person has had breast lump, has removed it twice, keeps growing, she's tired of surgery, and the pain is becoming unbearable for her. Which of the Rida range of products can this person use? Dr. Fumi, I know, let's have your take.
Okay, thank you. The first thing I would say is that, I mean, I believe the person, since the person has had the breast lumps removed, the lumps should have been investigated. So the first thing is to make sure it's not cancer, But, I mean, there are different causes of breast lumps. They could be cysts, they could be what we call a fibroadenoma. Some it could be infection like mastitis. So depending on the cause, of those lumps, again we go back to the Rida range, Rida bitters, Rida cleanser. I would say that person could have that cause first, and then at a point adding Rida restore, because some lumps have been found to be due to hormonal imbalance, and so having taken a course of restore in addition, I believe could also be of value. So basically, Rida bitters, cleanser, and down the line, try restore. So that's That's what even the pain. I mean, the Rida range, the Rida bitters has anti-inflammatory and analgesic properties. So even as apart from the curative, the antioxidant effect, the repair of whatever was going on, the analgesic action of the bitters would also help.
Okay. Thank you very much for that, Dr. Fumi. I think I hope we've all been listening to that as well. These are some issues that people have that are really, really difficult and painful issues, and people are looking for solutions. So we know the range of products to use. We know how to apply them. MI, is this something you want to make further comments on? Okay, you're fine. Okay, excellent. So we'll progress on neatly. This is the last question we will take. If we have more questions coming from people and you put in the chat box, I can amplify your questions. And if you don't amplify your questions, I have plenty of other questions that people are copying me at the back and sending directly to me as well that I will feature. But I'd like everybody to share their questions openly so that everybody can see the questions and they can anticipate when they'll be sorted. We have more and more people entering the room right now. This is a very valuable meeting because handling the products and recommending to people, the confidence with which you do that affects how much the product can be recommended to others and how far it can go as well. The next question goes to MI. It says, what can I recommend for someone with kidney problem? Okay, someone's kidney is having issues. What are the kind of symptoms that the person is likely to notice? And what can I recommend for this person in the Rida range? MI, over to you.
Okay. Most times when you hear that, there's an issue with the kidney, there's usually an underlying cause. I think, not that I think, I know the way the body is wired, God is just awesome. The way the body is just totally very much related and connected in a very interesting way. Like I shared earlier, talking about the kidney and the fact that it's like the washing machine. It's like the body's washing machine, right? And that's the work that it's supposed to do. And it's blood supply to that place that makes the work easy to be done. So when a person has high blood pressure, it's going to affect blood supply, to the kidney. If the person has high sugar in the blood, it's going to affect the quality of blood that is made available to the kidney. So all of that is going to impact negatively on the health of the kidney. So when a person asks a question like, okay, somebody has kidney problems, I think the next question is to find out what else, or what exactly is the person managing, or what has the person been managing for some time. And it's good to go to the root cause of that. Okay, and you discover that sometimes it's high cholesterol, sometimes it's high blood sugar, sometimes it's high blood pressure. And I believe that, of course, with the Rida range, especially starting from the bitters, it helps you to be able to address this issue from the cellular level. And that's one of the reasons why I really like the Rida bitters. I mean, it addresses it. So, straight up, I'll say for someone who is battling kidney issues, start first and foremost, because the kidney works very hard. The kidney works very hard. So it's good to just, I would just say start with 30 days first, of taking the bitters and taking a lot of water, to do like a background work on the kidney. Then one can now take a look and say, okay, is there BP issue? Is there, diabetes and all of that? And then one can add one or two other variants that may be able to also do a further, much better work, to handle what the issue is. But straight up, I would say, begin from taking the bitters, take a look at what exactly, also is the person battling with or trying to manage, and be able to address it from the root cause and take it on from there. I have, I know someone who, about my age mates, he had, serious kidney issues. He had spent a lot of money, done dialysis, and we just went to visit him and gave him, I think, 4 bottles of the bitters. as we speak to you now, is no longer having dialysis. I mean, literally, he was a shadow of himself. Now he's a lot better. So the that direction of starting with bitters and now addressing any other thing that is being managed will do a good work in handling that. Thank you.
Oh, thank you very much for that, MI. Dr. Fumi, I know, is this a contribution you'd like to make to this particular question?
I think it's fine. It's fine. Thank you.
Okay. So I was looking at kidney, and the kidney is such a very vital part of the human body. It's not something that we see. It's hidden and tucked in somewhere there. But once the kidney begins to malfunction, it manifests in multiple ways. And it manifests in very, very interesting side effects like having trouble sleeping, having to urinate too frequently, swelling this, swelling that. You begin to have dry and itchy skin. You see blood in your urine. The urine is foamy. There's puffiness around your eyes. These are early signs that something is not functioning as it should in the kidney. Your ankles or your feet are swollen. You have poor appetite. Your muscles are cramping. Of course, some of these symptoms can be responsible for other things. But if you begin to have these signs, you need to detoxify. You need, to begin to take care of yourself, pay attention. Don't wait until things really, really collapse before you pay attention. You can begin to do something about it. The Rida range is not only for solving problems when they have already been created. They're also for, arming you with the capacity to forestall and prevent these issues before they materialize. Emma wants to add something. Okay, please go ahead and add.
Okay, I would just like to say on behalf of the medical team, I know we say this all the time, but I mean, just for the sake of emphasis, is the fact that we always encourage anyone not to come up with your own personal diagnosis. Don't on your own say, oh, it is cholesterol that is the issue. Or don't say, get properly examined. Ensure that you are properly examined by a professional and see a doctor. And if you're on medications, we do not tell you to jettison your medications. We encourage you to use the Rida range of products alongside your normal orthodox medications, okay? And make room to see your doctor, to have like reviews. Of course, we've had testimonies of people who have come back and said, you are using something. Oh. There is something you are using that is not what I gave you. Whatever you are using, just keep using it. We've had people who their doctors have reduced their dosage and those kind of things. Those are the kind of testimonies we want to hear. We want the doctors to, by themselves say, give that go ahead so that you can know that, we're not, orthodox medicine is not bad. It's not, we want to be able to see where the synergistic effect is and how you can all have a better quality of health. I just wanted to say that, ensure that you have a proper diagnosis, ensure that you don't stop taking your medications, ensure that you see your doctor, especially when you are managing some health conditions. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much for that. Dr. Fumi, I know wants to add something to that, definitely. Yes?
Oh, well, no, just to reiterate what MI said, just like when you are on fully orthodox management, you have reviews. When you're on the Rida range of products, it's important to, if it's, for instance, diabetes, your blood sugar should be monitored closely, to make sure it's still within the range that is safe. It's not too low, it's not too high, and all that. So yeah, it's just that, just to make sure you're monitored, whatever it is you're managing.
Okay, thank you very much for that. There are a few questions in the chat box. I'll take them before I take on a few other questions that is now available on the slides. Someone is asking here, Adisa is asking, what should the person with low blood pressure take? Please. Somebody has low blood pressure, what should they take? And Maria Dauda is asking, which product can, she says cure retinal detachment. I'll say help with retina detachment. We try to avoid using the strong words like cure, even though we know sometimes people experience absolute solutions. But for the retinal detachment one, and then for low blood pressure, Dr. Fumi or MI, who wants to go first?
Okay, let me say something about the low blood pressure. You know, and I believe we've actually answered this question on this platform before. You know, the first thing is to find out what is causing the low blood pressure. Is it acute? Acute meaning if for someone who has low blood pressure that's acute, it's sudden, it could be due to blood loss, fluid loss, dehydration. You know, there's some hormonal problems that cause low blood pressure. It's important to be diagnosed and find out the cause. Now, Rida bitters is normally, we say it has antihypertensive properties, but again, it has antioxidant properties which repair damage from the cellular level. And I would say that if someone has low blood pressure, you've had a diagnosis, you know what's causing it. To support that management, you can use Rida bitters, but starting at a low dose and a low strength. So what I mean is like starting with 5 mils in half a glass of water, and then monitor, you know, gradually increase it, and, you know, watch it and see how it goes. That's what I would suggest recommend for someone who has low blood pressure.
Okay, thank you very much for that. MI, is there any addition you want to add to that? Please go ahead.
Yeah. So in the course of doing this work, you know, sometimes you learn some things that you didn't know about before. I became aware that taking tea bag, taking bland tea bag would help people with low blood pressure. Yes. I heard that that's quite helpful. So I would just like bland, like normal tea bag, like a regular tea, maybe green tea or in addition, I hear it also helps with people that have really, because some people have really very low blood pressure. There was somebody who one of my downlines prospects who had that and recommended that for her, and her blood pressure began to go. So, well, she didn't take the bitters, she took the cleanser, just one, and then she was taking normal tea. She just put in hot water the tea bag and would drink it. And her blood pressure began to normalize.
Okay, thank you very much for that. Nobody has commented about retina detachments. I'd like to have some thoughts on that. And somebody is also asking which Rida product can help with SLE, lupus, or however it's pronounced. Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Okay.
Do you want to go first, Emma? You can go.
Okay, ma. Okay, so I'd just like to speak to the retina detachment question. You know, when you hear questions like this, you wonder, you know, those are that's one of the questions where you say, just try Rida. Yeah. So I'll definitely recommend that the person tries the Rida herbal bitters. Okay, we've had cases of glaucoma. We have had a number of people with sight issues have had it improved and all that. But for the case of retinal detachment, that's a bit more. We don't have any testimonies. I don't know of any testimony in that direction. And the recommended treatment for it is surgery. So if that is being recommended, I think it's something one can embrace. But definitely, you can give it a try by doing 30 days of the Rida bitters. I'm sure if it's something that is going to help within that 30-day period, you would have been seeing the signs already. And we've had testimonies on glaucoma, so why not? One could try that, because even the surgery procedure does not give you guarantees that it will be successful. So you can just have the opportunity to try another thing, try something else before going under the knife. I think that's all for me for now.
Okay, thank you. I mean, that's exactly what I wanted to say, really. Just that. I mean, it's an ophthalmological case where most likely surgery will be needed, but just like MI said, Rida bitters, would be something that I would advise the person to try to start off with while preparing for surgery, while during or after the surgery as well. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Thank you very much for that, Dr. Fumi and MI. Thank you. If I can make a comment about that as well, I realize that one of the biggest causes of retinal detachment is aging. And if you understand aging very well and the way cells die and reproduce and how oxidative stress basically, many of the diseases that are called terminal or that are lifestyle challenges also happen with old age. So if Rida is helping in direction, like everybody has said, try Rida. Okay, someone is asking a question here as well about SLE. What do they use for SLE, for lupus? And another person is asking, so for glaucoma, the same thing has been shared for retinal detachment to be applicable for glaucoma. It's all aging prone. They become more prevalent as we grow older, the wear and tear begins to happen. So your betas will be in good place. If it's a lady, you can add restore to it. Cleanser will add value as well. But I'll leave it to the experts to tell us a little bit more. And someone's asking, our Rida tea or any green tea? I think what she meant was any green tea. As an additional thing that you can use. I think Dr. Fumi also offered a perspective about how you can use Rida with fewer meals as a solution to that. But I'd like to throw the floor open for these other questions. Dr. Fumi, do you want to start? And then I might take it over from you.
Yeah, SLE is a chronic inflammatory condition, and even though I believe it's usually treated with immunosuppressants, I believe that the bitters, because we have in the bitters we have it has anti-inflammatory properties, and so I believe that along with whatever else the person is using, I believe the bitters could help. I would want to also again start at a lower dose and lower strength and gradually increase. I think the person could try that. Likewise with glaucoma, we've had a few testimonies about glaucoma improving with the use of Rida bitters.
Yep. Okay. Thank you very much, Dr. Fumi. Thank you very much, MI. If you look at the time already, I'm shocked that it's already 9 o'clock. And we seem not to have even gone very far at all. I still have quite a few questions here on the table here that I've not even asked. Well, I guess that's why it's Wellness Wednesday. It's going to come full circle again in another Wednesday. So it's something that we'll still have. But I'd like us to end with one question as we draw the curtain on tonight's conversation. And that question, I think, is a little bit of a popular question. So we can both take a stab at this, and then we can sign off with this question. A person with severe pile started taking bitters 2 weeks ago, or started bleeding yesterday. Please, what should he do? We've asked positive questions. Sometimes people experience some things like this that they want to talk about as well. Somebody has severe pile, started taking the bitters 2 weeks ago, or just started bleeding yesterday. Please, what should he do? I'm going to leave the floor for you to both ask and take a stab at it, and then we'll close for the night. Somebody's saying continue, don't worry. We'll continue next week, Wednesday, on another session of Wellness Wednesday. The recording for this will be available on YouTube. and you send to the groups. But let's end with this question. Who wants to go first? Dr. Fumiano, over to you.
Okay. I mean, piles, which we call hemorrhoids, we've had a lot of success with the Rida range and piles. What I'd like to say is that, again, it's very important that the person is fully investigated, because sometimes the person starts off with piles, and at the end of it, it's found that the person actually has colorectal cancer. Not to scare anyone, but it's very important to have proper investigation that indeed it is hemorrhoid. And if cancer has been ruled out and the person is bleeding, I would suggest, first of all, that the person could do what we call a sit bath with bitters in warm water, and do a sit bath, sit on it for a few minutes, 2 or 3 times a day, and see how it goes. I believe that would help. I have reason to believe that the bitters has some vasoconstrictive effect, because we've had a few cases of people bleeding, and you put on bitters and the bleeding stops, So yeah, that's what I would suggest initially. And then also the person could add the cleanser as well. We don't know why the bleeding starts. Maybe there was some trauma or something. We could also find out. I mean, that's part of taking a history, which we always encourage. Don't just say, okay, it's bleeding. Why is it bleeding? What happened? What was different? And then address it from there. But that sit bath, I believe, could help.
Thank you very much for that. As I'm listening to some of these questions and answers, I'm just thinking somebody needs to sit down with this video and pieces it out, write up some documents from here, and share on different media so that people can learn what to do. MI, over to you. It's 9 o'clock, we're closing already, so just give us your parting shot so that we can exit from here. I can see somebody in the group saying, I want to say something. Let's have you in mind, and then we'll see if we can take 1 more minute and then shut it. Yeah.
Okay, just to add to what Dr. Aino said, the person has been taking it for 2 weeks, I believe, from what CM said. The person can pause taking it orally and begin the sit bath, maybe for about a couple of days. And when the bleeding subsides, the person can commence taking the bitters orally and diluting water. And then we'll observe again and see how it goes. But definitely the sit bath, the person can pause taking it orally. And when the person starts to take it again, say after maybe about 3-5 days, can dilute in water before taking it. And then we'll see how it goes from there. Because taking it orally and doing the sit bath, both combinations will work. Taking it from in and then doing the sit bath we're attacking it from both sides. So that should work. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you very much, MI and Dr. Fumi. I can see that Dr. Leslie Phillips wants to share something here. We're actually out of time, so I'd like you to just can do a minute. Just quickly for a minute, you can unmute, and then let's wrap this up. Wellness Wednesdays every Wednesday, so we can always take it further from there as well. Can you unmute? Yes, very quickly.
Yeah. Good evening, everyone. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Hello, I can't hear you.
I can hear
okay.
you.
Just want to share something on the hemorrhoid.
Oh, it's not audible.
Sorry, I came in late.
Okay, I can hear you now.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you now.
Yes.
Okay. Just want to share something on the hemorrhoid. Normally, when the person starts using it and there is healing at a point, along the line, the bleeding resumes in some people. The body, the person's system, some might not experience this, but majority of the success I've recorded on hemorrhoid, experience this, their body begin to react to it. So at that moment, they give a break of 2 to 3 days. Stop the oral taking. Then put a handful of bitters in your hand, or someone could do that, and use on the anus where the pile is coming out. Soak enough to be able to hold it firm within 1-2 minutes, 2 or 3 times daily. But the bleeding resuming after some time you started Rida usually occurs. And I guess it's from the metabolism of the individual. So it's not
Okay.
like something that has not been experienced. It
Okay.
happens.
Okay. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. So thanks for all the contributions from all the contributors. I think some of the elements of what you have shared is in the sit bath, for example, that has been mentioned as well. To say put it in some water and sit in it for some time. And I think with some of these things, we'll be able to handle them better. We're able to handle about 10 questions today. 50 solid minutes of question and answers. I'm sure this will happen again sometime soon until we come your way next Wednesday for Wellness Wednesday, irrespective of whatever shape and size we take. Let's use these lessons and answers as extra ginger to share with our team members and the people who need this product. Let's go all out and ensure that more and more people can join our train of spreading wellness and wealth. Thank you very much, everyone, for participating. Thank you, Dr. Fumi. Thank you, Temitope Akemi, and thank you, Dr. Blessing Phillips. God bless you, everyone. We'll take a little music